Hi, good morning. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you do happen to have two blocks, we're going to be using these for the first pose and the last pose. So we're going to get started. Okay, so grab your mat and join me. So let's just start first by closing our eyes and begin to breathe in through the nose. Just begin to deepen your breath down into the diaphragm. And as you breathe out, slowly let the breath elongate and begin to let the belly button draw to the back of the spine as you lift up through the pelvic floor. See if it's possible to breathe in for a count of 3 or 4. Have a little pause and then breathe out for a little longer than the inhale. And take a moment to scan through your body and see what is painful, tender, or tight today. Okay, so we're slowly going to bring the chin down to the chest. Allow your eyes to blink open. Let's gaze on up. And we're going to make our way into lung bench. So we're going to take our bricks on the medium side and we're just going to stack them like little train tracks going that way across the top of the mat. Okay, so the first block we're going to bring just to the brow line and then underneath the head. Okay, you want to make sure that everything is stable and comfortable before you settle on in. Okay, so the blocks should not be digging in anywhere, but they should feel comfortable. You should feel supported and secure. You can let your eyes close or you can keep them open. And I want you just to relax your jaw and I want you to relax the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, you can bring your hands onto your belly. Sometimes it's nice to just have that tactile reminder that we're breathing comfortably in these poses. Or maybe you want to take the arms down, palms up or down, whatever feels good for you today. Have a little play, see where you want to take those arms. And then you can keep your feet standing or you can extend them long. Okay, every day is different, so just see what you need today. So we're going to just take some time here just relaxing and settling in. So with Yin Yoga, we use these holding poses to work into the connective tissue. We're working within the tendons and the ligaments of the joint, as well as the thick fibrous tissue that covers the bones and the muscles and the cells. The object here is to give that time and space to create that healing. None of the muscles should be actively engaged right now. You're just allowing the body to drape into the equipment and into the floor and allowing space and openness. Breathing deeply into the lungs, and then as you exhale, you're just releasing and letting go of any hold, any tension or frustration, any self-doubt, any ill health, whatever might be hindering you or holding you back. You're just going to release it. These poses are held for several minutes. And you're going to feel so good afterwards. Okay, so you're going to take a breath in and then slowly breathe out. Let's prepare to move. We're going to bring those elbows and forearms right underneath, next to our bodies. We're going to lift with the heart center as we push on up through the arms and through the hands. And we're going to just come into a little seated staff pose to see how that feels. Now we're going to just slowly bend the knees. We're going to lift up through the crown. We're going to drape the belly over the thighs and relax the hands down. Relax the spine and the chin and the head. Okay, so this should feel like a nice, comfy, yummy stretch. Okay, if this is at your limit, just stay here. Otherwise, you might want to consider pushing the leg away, or pushing the leg away, but just allowing the ankles and the toes to hang out loosely. So an option that some of you might want is to use one of your blocks as a kind of headrest. Okay, sometimes this feels nice, just propping it up. See what works for you today. I fancy just keeping the head relaxed because it allows the exhale to release further and deeper into the pose. And that's what I like to see. I like to see my progress as I relax more, it becomes more and more accessible. So this is our caterpillar pose. This works the whole back posterior chain. Now I'm being mindful that I'm not pushing myself into this pose. I'm not trying to achieve anything here. I'm just allowing it to happen naturally. And that can sometimes be the hardest part, is not trying to get to the end or having that final, I need to reach my feet. That's not what the point of this is. The point is to very gently and lovingly tap into that tight connective tissue and just giving it time to open up and ease.
Okay, so when we are stretching our connective tissue, we're actually bringing more life and vitality to it. Becomes a little bit more supportive and springy rather than tight and angry. And let's just take a few more breaths here. Trying to relax as deeply as you can. We're going to slowly begin to walk those hands in.
Okay, so we're going to come into a basket pose now. So what that is we're going to bring our right leg in front and then cross the left leg afterwards. Okay, so we're sitting in kind of what some will call an easy pose, but what I want us to do is almost have the shins kind of in front of us rather than the heels very close. Okay, we're just relaxing through the hips here. You're letting the knees just ease down. You're not pushing through, you're just letting it happen organically. Our torso and our crown is just nicely kind of tall. All right, we're not putting a lot of effort into this. We're relaxing the shoulders away. Remembering to draw the navel in as we exhale. This is really great to get into our piriformis. Also into the knees if we've got any knee issues, any hip, any tight quads. Okay, so we're now going to take this right leg. We're going to just begin to lift the knee up and we're going to just come onto the left hip so that we can swizzle it around. We're coming into deer pose now. So left leg is in front of us. Right leg is to the side. Actually, the shin is in line with the side of the mat. Okay, we're bringing the knee in line with the hip on both. So this is our deer pose. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to just try and see if we can get that right hip down a little bit. We're just relaxing that. Feeling a deep stretch into this right quad. What is white quad? Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just walk it back and we're going to relax back, coming into a reclining deer. So this is where we might want to be. You might think this is not deep enough. You might want to get a little bit deeper into this where you can come down onto the forearms. Just make sure nothing is pinching. That's an important thing with our practice here. Let's make sure that if anything is pinching, that means you're having compression, and that is not what we want. We want to let the chi energy flow through the body, and that is by opening up all of the channels, not compressing them and pinching them. So any pinching where it feels as if there's like a knee kind of impinging or something is like a pinpoint of pain, that means it's usually bone on bone, okay? And what I encourage you to do is ease up on that. Make sure that your chin is nice and happy, your neck is good. Okay. So we're going to take a breath in. We're going to just begin to lift on up out of this. And we're going to just begin to slowly come into our swan pose, or in standard yoga we would call it pigeon. And so what we're going to do is we're going to extend that right leg back, all the way back. Now some people want to stand that left hip, that's fine if this is where you are today. Maybe you can roll so that you're on top. So you're just lifting that left hip, okay? You might need to bring your heel closer depending on your knee aspect, or you might think that you could take your foot up a little higher. Wherever you are today, just find that comfort, find that gorgeous stretch that you need today. So we're just kind of in a nice high swan, a royal swan at the minute. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down into a little sleepy swan. Use that exhale to transition. But sometimes when we first come into some of these poses, they can feel a little tight. This is where I encourage you just to try and breathe. And the more that you breathe and relax into the pose, the more accessible it becomes. We're going to slowly slide the hands under the shoulders, pushing up through the hands, lifting on up nice and slowly. Come onto the left hip. Okay, we're going to very slowly take this right leg and cross it over. Okay. This is tall twisted roots in Yin Yoga, but it's called cow face pose in standard yoga. See how this pose develops for you. You can start to think about walking the ankles out. Trying to relax that right hip down. You can begin to kind of ease it forward. See what you need today. Maybe you wanted to go into a twist instead. See what suits you, what serves you. When you practice on your own, what I like you to do is wait till you feel that shift, that change in that hold. You'll go from being very tight and uncomfortable, to feeling actually really nice and at ease and at peace within your body. We're going to walk those hands in. We're going to uncurl, and we're going to work on the other side. So let's come back now. So now we're going to cross left heel in, right heel. We're sitting nice and comfortably in basket. Remember, the shins are in line. And just relaxing those knees down. Not really having too much effort here. whip around so we can demonstrate what we're doing. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take that left leg. We're coming into that deer pose. So we're going to bring that left leg out. Okay, so our right leg, the shin is in line with the top of the mat. The knee is in line with the hip. Again, that left leg, knee is in line with the hip, and the ankle is in line with the knee. Okay, first let's start by lifting up nice and tall, nice and supported, and we're trying to work on getting that left hip and glute down. Okay, it might not be accessible, it might be quite highly lifted, and that's okay. It's just that setting that intention and getting those thoughts in motion, just beginning to feel what this is happening for you. You know, we're thinking about trying to get that right knee down as well, just letting it drape. Remember, it's about ease and comfort. Okay, so we're going to come into our reclining deer. So it might be, this is where you want to just hang out. It doesn't matter how your hands are, whether the fingers are behind or forward. Okay, it is about what your body wants to do. Okay, I'm going to see if we can come down maybe, if you're a little bit more nimble today. Okay. And every day we feel different, and it could have anything to do with maybe the temperature or what's on our mind. Maybe our hormones are at play. Maybe it's how much hydration we've had. There's all sorts of different reasons what can change with the function of our bodies. We're just feeling and relaxing. Okay, we're going to start to prepare to lift on up. Pushing through the hands, using the upper body to help you. Okay, we're going to come into our swan now. So we're going to either just keep rested on that right hip, or we can begin to roll it on to the top of that back leg. See what you want to do with this heel. And let's just start first by having our bodies nice and tall. And then when it feels right for you, you want to start to work your way down, if you like, into that sleeping swan. So sometimes there's a term used called the bite within Yin Yoga, and that's where it feels like that bit of sensation where it's hard work and you know you need to be there. So I think with any point of our practice, you want to make sure that you're working safely and that it doesn't hurt, but the sensation can feel quite strong. But it's not a sensation where it's causing you any pain, and that's the difference. It feels, like I always call it, like it just feels really yummy. It feels like it's nurturing. It feels like you need to be there. Okay, so that's what I want you to try and find when I use the word the bite. Okay? So a few more breaths here.
going to bring our hands under the shoulders, begin to push on up, roll onto that right hip, and let's bring that left leg around. So we're going to just cross it on over, coming into our twisted root. Okay. You might want to walk the ankles a little bit more forward. You might want to try and get those knees stacked. Remember, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters how it feels. Let's work on getting that left hip relaxed into the earth. You know, you can stay here, or maybe you want to kind of come a little bit more forward. Beautiful. Let's begin to walk those hands in. Let's begin to uncurl those legs. So our knees are bent. I'm going to just relax back, and we're just going to let the knees come from side to side. And then we're going to take the legs a little longer. Just a slight bend in the knees, and we're going to just let the ankles and feet go from side to side. And we're going to just slowly come onto our backs. So here's a little rebound moment, just taking about 30 seconds just to process everything that we've done so far. And you're just letting go here. Nothing is tight or being held, it's just all comfortable. Okay, so let's stand our feet. Okay, we're going to bring the thighs together, and I want us to cross the left leg over the right, bringing our hands out like a T at the shoulders, and we're going to just hitch our hips over to the left. So you're going to lift your hips, scooch them over to the left. Nice big breath in. As you exhale, you're going to look to the left as your knees drop to the right. You're letting your left shoulder be connected, just dropping the knees down. Now, if this is too tight in the hip or the knees are not happy, you can always just stack the knees in the hip. But I like the twisted roots today. Okay, so let's slowly uncurl if you are still in twisted roots. Okay, let's take a breath in. We're going to just sweep those knees up, center out those hips. We're going to now bring the right leg over the left, lift your hips, scooch them over to the right, look to the right. As you exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Keep the right shoulder down. Dropping the knees to where they feel comfortable.
Okay, let's uncross those legs. Inhale, let's take those knees up. Scooch that hip in the center. And now we're going to take our block one last time. Okay, let's pop it underneath the hips. Okay, so we're coming to little suspension bridge now. Okay, so you can actually have it on the lowest setting. I'm going to go up to the middle setting because that's what I need today. So there's a lot of things that you can do here. You can see how you just feel like this. This might be viable today. We can do anything we like with our arms. We can take them up overhead if we need to kind of work into the shoulders, into the neck. Okay, maybe you want to keep the feet standing, or maybe you want to just take one leg long. And then maybe you want to swap it up and take the other leg long. Maybe you want to take both legs long. See what suits you today. See where you want to be today. If at any point this becomes too much, just lift on off and pop it down to the lower side. Okay, if you don't happen to have a block with you right now, you can just come into a static bridge where you stand your feet. You're pushing through the whole foot of the whole sole of the foot, and you just like lifting your leg, your hips up. Okay. So we're now going to release out of suspension bridge anyway. We're going to let the spine relax down. Extend the legs long. And we're going to have just a few minutes of Shavasana. Letting your eyes close, I want you to begin to breathe in the energy. Trying to visualize the color and the texture of this energy that is coming in to nourish your body. And you're breathing it in through the spine. So it's coming in through the nostrils and it's working its way from the top of your cervical spine all the way down to the tailbone. And as you breathe out, it's lifting back up and out through your nose. You feel this breath energy beginning to add some space and fluffiness between each vertebrae. It's strengthening all the muscles around the spinal cord, and it's providing length and stability. Inadvertently, this energetic breath is also healing your emotional bodies. So, whatever you need, you can just begin to draw it in with the breath, letting the breath do its healing job. And then you're going to use the out breath to release what you no longer need. So whether it's stress you want to relieve, anger or resentment, maybe you want to get rid of a pain or ill health. Release it, let it go. Visualize the energetic breath as a healing, warm, nurturing part of you that you can use to transform. So we're going to begin to transition now back into sitting very slowly, but we're going to begin by moving the fingers and the wrists and taking nice normal breaths again, preparing ourselves to come around, get on with the rest of our day. Bring one knee in, give yourself a loving hug. Let's bring the other knee in. Reach on up overhead, have a full body stretch. Stand your feet and roll over to the right side. Come on up into sitting. Nice tall sit. Ah, fabulous. Let's take a couple breaths in. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this has set you up to feel really good, at peace and calm. Thank you. Namaste.